All right, I'm gonna put some gameplay in the back. Test drive Limited Solar Crown. Before we jump into the video that I already filmed like 30 minutes of last night, it'll be a long one about my feedback, opinions, what I liked about the game, what I think can be improved. Like, I had a good time with the demo. Big shout out to KT Racing and Nikon for even putting this out and letting us play the game 3 months early. It's a blast. I'm super excited. I just want to hit a lot of the main points, just like a brief, like, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like, and then like go into like my rants last night and just a little more in depth. Okay, but this is from one of the streams we had of the cruises. But so let me talk about some stuff here. Okay, I like the attention to detail. All right, I like that you can put the windows down. I think everything about that was great. Just I like a lot of the little attention to detail things in this game. Okay, sense of speed is absolutely amazing. There's some games that just don't capture it, and even without like the blurry anime lines coming at you, once you get like around like 150, 200, 220, it feels real sketchy going quick on those highways. And a lot of people are talking about more traffic. Sometimes when that traffic spawns on that highway and it's heavy traffic, you're gonna have a bad time at 220 mile an hour. And people are like, we need more traffic. No, you don't need it. It said it on the demo, and like the bugs and issues, that traffic is a work in progress. They're gonna do what's best. Have faith in them. Okay. The car catalog, I think it's a good starting point. Obviously they're gonna add new stuff down the road, but I think like the 100+ cars is gonna be pretty good. The starter cars, I do hope they change the starter cars. The Mustang, the 370, and the Alpine basically feel too fast for starter cars when you got like the Abarth 500 or like the Mito Quadrifoglio or like the 2CV or the Beetle. It kind of feels like you kind of just jump up. I don't know if this was just for demo purposes or what, but I feel like the cars are too fast. You know what I mean? For beginning of the game. Frim coming back is good. I like the wrecks. I think we can only get 8 or 9 wrecks out of the 14. If there's only one car that's the wreck, which I think is like the off-road Beetle, I would assume is what it is. Hopefully there's more than just that. I do like that each car handles differently. You know if you're driving all-wheel drive, you know if you're driving rear-wheel drive, you know if you're driving front-wheel drive. Each car, and they said in some of the articles, like, you're able to go to a dealership in real life, take that car and drive it, and it feels just like it does in the game. And it's pretty spectacular that they're able to do that, because there's a lot of games where every car feels the same, and it's like, well, what's the point? I do think that some cars are a little too loose in the rear. I don't know if the semi-slick tires are going to fix that, but like the Aston Martin DB11, you got to turn on traction control to 100% to even control that thing. Even with like a quarter throttle, that thing just spins at any gear, and I'm like, that's a little too much. I know that car's fast, but come on, that's a little much. You know what I mean? Sound design, freaking amazing. I mean, you got different turbo and blow off sounds depending on how much throttle you give it. It's not just the same turbo sound and blow off sound every time, no matter your throttle input. It's like you know, or you get like a little like, if you've ever owned a turbo car. I miss my R33, by the way. My GTST thing had like 350 wheel horsepower. So fun. But they nailed it. Okay, they nailed the sound design. Now I do hope that they add superchargers to the game and we don't just have turbos, but we'll have to see about that. After playing this for 45 hours and going back to the Crew Motorfest, a lot of the foliage, even on low and medium graphics, look way better than like Motorfest. Everybody's like, oh, Forza Motorfest looks better. Even though this is a early build and I couldn't really run it properly, after going back to Motorfest, a lot of the stuff looks way better in this game than it does like in the distance or some of the shit does in Motorfest. So I just want to put that out there. The road textures, like when you go slow and actually look at the road textures, there's like cracks in the road, there's like patches, there's a, like, you know, where they patch some holes or this, like you can see it right here on the screen. Like, it gives life to the road. It's not just like, here's pavement copied and pasted all over the place. Like, I think that's a good detail. I want to say nighttime is my favorite, obviously. The nighttime, the street lights, the glow, the way the buildings light up. Daytime sometimes looks a little like washed out. Now you can turn the contrast up in this game, and I recommend going like 60 to 65 on the contrast instead of the 50. I do like that. This one didn't work. But you can go in a parking garage and bzzz, you can slow down and wait for it to go up and go down. It's so cool. The exhaust shake and the smoke coming out of the exhaust is a really cool touch. The map accuracy, I think the map was great. Fizzy put up a video. I linked it on my demo survey last night. And if you want to go check out an hour and 35 minutes of him going off-road. I mean, they did say they saved the best parts of the map for the full game, and they weren't lying, because the rest of the map looks really cool. They found a place called the Arcade. Could be the casino. It looks like a casino. I worked in one for 8 years, and we're working at a couple. But, I mean, even if we don't have it at launch, it's already there, right? But, yeah. The map, amazing. The road design, some toge spots, the off-road, just all the little hidden paths. I really enjoyed exploring and going off-road, but I do feel like once you grab some of those things, there's no reason to go on those off-road paths. But I mean, from the little bit of demo we had, they gave us a lot of races, and there was the dirt paths were like full-on WRC rally courses, and it was fun. And I know in the full game there's going to be a ton more, so I'm looking forward to that. Talking about the parking garages already, like they're cool. I like those. Car interiors, really solid job on that. I think the people are a little hung up on like the steering animation, how you literally you turn like this, and it's not like Motor Fast, like where you're actually turning the wheel. It was in the survey of things they want to obviously implement, but you know, if they eventually get it, that's fine. Just let us get the game. Fix it later. I'm so hyped. I like the leaderboards. I like the daily live challenges. They had like a hothead one where you like compete and all that stuff. The way that you can do different car setups and hop in, and like if I pull up to a dirt road, I can go in and throw on off-road tires and go. Now, I don't think you could change to your off-road suspension, but just being able to throw on off-road tires makes a big difference, and then go about your way. And they have different like sport mode, dynamic, all road. And then there's 6 settings that were locked for us in the demo, but you can set your car up to however you want. And the good thing is when you go into a lobby, I know a lot of people are complaining about the lobbies being like a 30-some second countdown, but depending on the track, you can see the track layout. And like, all right, this is a tight technical track. Let me get it set up for like more acceleration, less top end, and better handling. And you know, you can go into your car setup and choose your setup. Like, so you kind of need those 30 seconds to optimize your car for that course. So like, people just want to get in quickly. I'm like, I get that, but at the same time, you got to think of what the devs have done for the game with the car setups, and give you time to select the proper setup to do your best for that race, right? So I'm kind of okay with that while waiting for people to come in. I think a lot of people just like want to get in a race, and I think a majority of people probably aren't going to change their setups, and they're just going to race the game. But I think for us hardcore players that actually know about changing your car setups and how to best set up your car, 30 seconds is perfect. Okay, that's enough time. Sometimes I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do this and maybe do that, and then I ran out of time. I was like, oh shit. Anyway, I like that. The damage kind of seems a little goofy. Your car, after you take some hits, just look like crumpled up aluminum foil. Sometimes the bumpers hang off, but like, especially for photo mode, they need to implement to take the damage off for photo mode, like how you can on like Motorfest. Because there's times where you take cruises with your buddies to like all the way to the top of a mountain. There's no gas station to repair, and I don't want to drive 15 minutes in a cruise and then get up to a nice photo. We come across a nice photo spot. Oh, our cars look crumpled up and looks like shit. So I hope that they implement that for a photo mode. Just a simple thing, I'm sure, you know, that they can implement eventually. I think they did a really good job with the diverse environment. There's like tight alleyways, there's sweeping highways, there's like the on and off ramps are cool, off-road, there's jumps hidden in different places. I really enjoyed it. I like that the dealerships on the map, you can highlight them and it shows you what cars are for sale. Supposedly they're gonna like rotate. We'll have to see. But I mean, just instead of having to go into the dealership, you can just highlight it and then click R3 and scroll pages to see what's on sale. Saves you a ton of time, so that's cool. We talked about the solar coins, the Rex, all that stuff. At one point I was like, did I collect these? I think it was just a server errors, not saving properly. But maybe once a month have them respawn or something. I don't know, because like you can get a ton of money by collecting those. So probably having them one and done, because there's a ton of them on the map. You can get millions. I think I got like 1.1 million just for driving around for an hour collecting collectibles. Like it's, so maybe one and done's probably for the best, because you're gonna abuse that once a month, you know. The fast traveling, the limited fast traveling is really cool. I don't want to fast travel everywhere. I'm glad they don't let you fast travel to a race. Make you drive to it. It's test drive. The whole fun of it is driving the car. All right, get out, just drive to where you gotta go. Sometimes, yeah, I got lazy. It was like, all right, well, that's kind of, oh, kickflip. Sometimes, you know, I was like, all right, like I'll just fast travel real quick. But for the most part, having just the meeting points and like the dealerships to fast travel to is cool. You actually have to drive to the races and all that, and I feel it's a good balance. Can't really talk about the AI scaling for the difficulty in the races, because some of them, like the Lancia, was pretty OP, but they're all set to level 60 and they're supposed to like level up with you. But for the most part, I do feel the AI was too easy. It's realistic. No way we're getting back up that. I won 74 out of 84 races. Sometimes I flew off the road, so you know it happens. But for the most part, I felt it was AI was a little too easy. Maybe for like the garage, maybe if they let us sit in the car, and it would probably be hard to implement like driving it to the door, but at least let us go to the garage, sit in the car, and then have an option to leave the garage, and then just like how you go and leave the door of the solar hotel, just go into your garage instead and then sit in the car. Obviously you can have more than 6 cars, but you choose your 6 cars to display. You sit in your car, and then you can have an option from sitting in the car to leave the garage, and then you just, maybe it gives a little animation, you drive to the door and the door opens or something. I think that would make people go into their garage more than just, because I never went back to my garage. I set my cars up when I bought them, and then I was like, I just left through the door of the solar hotel instead of going to the garage. But if they made a little animation of you pick your car and then you had an option to leave the garage, I think that would be really cool and give more people a reason to go into their garage and leave the hotel from there. Because if you drive around the back side of like the solar hotel, there's definitely like garage doors. I heard some people saying they listened to the radio. It was always off for me. I couldn't get it to switch on. There's a lot of controller options that the menu was bugged. We weren't really able to get with that, but the people that did get it to work and change the sensitivity in dead zone said that the steering felt way better. So we'll have to mess around with that at launch. But it was cool when you pulled up to NPC cars, you could actually hear like their music and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I do want to say though, when you roll your windows down, it doesn't really seem to get louder from the inside of your car. So maybe if they did something where like the exhaust intake turbo sounds, just sounds of the outside get a little louder when you roll your windows down, would be pretty cool. I did notice when you drive in a group, like say we want to go for a cruise, if I put a GPS point on the map, nobody else can see it. And I feel like if you're in a group and somebody puts a GPS point on the map, it'd be a good feature to have everybody see that point. Because when I was on stream, I would have to wait for the stream delay, even though it's only like 6-7 seconds, be like, all right guys, this is where we're going, and at halftime we're like, I'll just follow you. But it would be nice to implement in the group that if you put a GPS spot, everybody could see it. But I did like that if you wanted to go instant challenge somebody, since the whole issue of if you fast traveled, usually you change a different lobby, which kind of sucks. If I put a GPS point on somebody to go find them to instant challenge them, no, like if they moved a mile away, it would still keep that GPS point on them actively. So it wasn't like I drive 5 minutes and get to where they were and they're not there anymore. That GPS that you put on that character, that other person driving, will always take you directly to them no matter where they move on the map. That was a really cool feature. I was really happy that that was the thing. So you can actually track down somebody instead of going, oh, they're not here anymore, you know? I mean, not having microtransactions at launch, great. Love that. I'm sure eventually, you know, they're going to make some money off this game. They're going to add car packs. They're going to add map DLCs. But I mean, they're going to give us a lot of free shit. So I don't have any problem. I'm hoping that they don't do solar coin microtransactions, because then that just defeats the purpose of the game, and then people, it's going to be a pay to win since it's going to be every 3-month competition. So hopefully they don't do that. Like I said, the races, the races all felt varied and different. No race felt the same. Every race felt fun, a different layout. They were all really well designed. I think they did a really good job with that, and that's how all the races are going to be for the game. I'm really hyped because nothing really felt repetitive at all. It was like, oh, let's go do this race. Oh, this race is right in the same location, but it's completely different. I think they did a really great job. Talked about the daily live challenges that we couldn't access. Really cool. Like those. And yeah, I've talked about the instant challenges. They're fucking amazing. I think I was kind of like, I think what last time I talked about in the video, I was like, well, it's 1,000, 15,000, 50,000 bet, and then you can turn it off. But I think for the most part, I was like, all right, well, maybe when you level up more, maybe you'll get a couple more options. But I think to keep from people getting like, you don't want to bet $1 million. I mean, yeah, you can put it on the line, but like, some people are going to find a way to cheese that from other people, and then you're going to get money too fast. Save it for the casino, you know? All right, now let's talk about some of the more like the bad side, like things that could be implemented in the game or potentially be fixed. All right, here we go. So I know a lot of people don't like the always online. I get why they did it. Anti-cheat. It's an MMO. Okay, you need to be always online, but there's a lot of things that I think a lot of people are complaining about that I know everybody's worried about the game shutting down. They already addressed that at the end of the game's life that they will make sure it doesn't happen like the crew, but I don't have an issue with it being always online, but I know a lot of people do, so we'll just leave that there. I think the voice settings, I like the voice chat in the group. You can turn it on. Now, when I stream from PS5 and I use my Elgato, I cannot plug a headset into my controller, and actually, if I do that and the game audio comes through my headset from the controller, then the audio doesn't go through my Elgato. So unlike this PC version, I was able to talk to people that were in my group. I won't be able to do that on the PS5 because of the way the Elgato is. I would have to get like a mixer or whatever, and I don't have one of those. But I think defaulting voice chat to off should be the way to go, because there's times where I came in this solar lobby or I came into like the workshop and you just hear people like like they're breathing in the fucking mic. Like push to talk maybe should be the way to go as like the stock option. That way you don't just hear just all the randomness, you know what I mean? So maybe that. And I do feel like in the, like there's so much ambiance in the world, but then when you're in like the solar hotel or in the workshop, it's quiet. There's nothing. So I feel like there should be some kind of background noise or like light music or something playing in the hotel. You know, maybe. The car customization, like I said, the wheels, I feel like there's going to be more. There's no way that's all the wheels. You know what I mean? I think that maybe even like some exhaust tips would be nice. Just enough that you widen them a little bit. Just, I'm not talking about like full on rice rocket fart cannons or anything, but like maybe a little bit of a change might be nice for that. I don't know what they have planned. I know it's test drive, stock, whatever, but I feel like even if they added some like factory kits from Lamborghini, from Nissan, from, you know what I mean? Like there's always factory aero options. If they added those into the game eventually, I think a lot of people would probably enjoy that a little bit more, because a ton of people love to customize their cars. And if you're speccing for cars for like the interior options and all the different interior options, maybe they should give us a spec where we could keep the stock body, or we could get, you know, an aero kit that is offered for the car stock from the manufacturer, because a lot of even Mitsubishi Lancer has that, you know what I mean? So maybe that could be a thing in the future, and I think it would still be true because that's a manufacturer option. You can change it on the fly. So a lot of people seem like they didn't like the pop, the bangs the cars make. I fucking love it. I think some cars it does sound very similar, but there's other cars it's slightly different. Maybe for the people that don't like it as much, maybe in like the ECU menu, or make like an ECU mapping where you can tone down the pops and the bangs. Maybe you can reduce it by 75% or turn it off. Maybe somewhere in like a tuning menu for, like I said, ECU, you can turn off the crackles and the pops. I think would probably be a good option, because I love it, but some of the stock cars just pop. That's not really realistic. Maybe hold that for when you get up to like the legendary parts or something, maybe. God, pedestrians. I'm okay without pedestrians, all right, but a lot of people want it. I mean, the game's already, they're struggling with optimization. Jesus. Now, this is an old build. They're gonna get it running properly. They already made some big improvements just in the little that the demo is out, but I don't think people realize that you're never gonna notice the pedestrians. Maybe like more around the shops, or maybe like sitting here and there at certain places. But I think for the most part, it's just going to take up resource and more splines and assets and optimization. And like, really, do we want some pedestrians walking right here? No, I'm not going to notice, especially when you're end game, you're flying 300 mile an hour in your freaking Lamborghini. You're not going to notice. I know like having like Midnight Club was sick because the pedestrians would jump out of the way. I mean, look at like the Crew Motorfest. They ain't got pedestrians. Where they at? Nowhere. Crew 2 have pedestrians. They don't. I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people want to see it though, so maybe that's something eventually they can work out. I'm okay without it. I do want to talk about the steering. Obviously, the steering wheel on the interior, the like 45-degree angle that it goes, that was in the survey. They talked about that. But if you actually look when you're like drifting and stuff, the wheel it snaps. There's no like fluid like wheel movement. Like when you're drifting and you let go, the wheel just snaps. It's very unrealistic. And maybe if it was a little more fluid, because right now, yeah, it's just very snap. It's either you turn, it goes like that. It's not like, you know, fluid or anything. I think there should be more collision penalties, because a lot of you could download Ghosts for like the world records, and people were just slamming into the walls. Now, I do like that, like the traffic lights and the poles, they slow you down. I think a lot of people that's going to be the meta for racing, is to just e-brake and slide and hit a pole to slow you down and just go through a corner that way instead of braking. That's definitely going to be the fastest way. But when I was number 4 on the docks, first place was just slamming on the walls and just like going around, and that was faster than actually driving properly. So maybe have some sort of penalty, or like stall your car if you're slamming into walls like that, to make it more fair. I mean, if you're doing this always online, anti-cheat, like really monitoring what's going on, I think having some sort of penalty for slamming into the walls would be nice, you know. Maybe same with like the time trials, maybe put a penalty if you cut off the track, because like a lot of people are complaining about the curbs and they're unrealistic and trying to find shortcuts. Like, this is test drive. I get it. They want a more realistic feel. People are always going to try to find cuts and stuff, but like, this isn't the Crew where you have to like find a cut off road. Like, this is test drive. Stay on the road, race properly, be a good racer. You know what I mean? Like, but there's always going to be people that do that, but like, this isn't that sort of game. So I feel like a penalty should be in place for that if they want to go for a competition style Solar King, Solar Queen, anti-cheat environment. I think that something like that should be implemented, because like, I always stay on the road and try to race as cleanly as possible, as fair as possible. And if you got people doing like crazy cuts, not fair to us, because then it pushes us to have to be like, all right, well, this takes like an L shape around here, or I can just cut across the grass and hop the curb and hope I don't flip my car, and then I can shave 3 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather go around like I'm supposed to. I do think it's weird that like when you're in a group and you're doing your emotes, they can't see you tippy toe or crouch. That's a little goofy. Different challenges around the map I think would be good, because right now we just have the speed traps. Now, I don't know. They did say everything that's in the game, all the features will be there at launch, so I don't know if that's all we have. But if there's no like slaloms, I think that if they added slaloms, like drift challenges, like, you know, score drift points, different things like that, activities to do in the world would be cool. But that could already be a thing. It's just not in the demo. We don't know. But I think that would be something pretty cool. I talked about the damage mod already. Kind of, you just look like a crumpled up aluminum foil, and I wish that in photo mode you could just have an option to reverse damage so you could take nice photos. Talked about the AI already. I think they were too easy. The boss races, when I did the boss races, way too easy. Destroyed them by like 20-30 seconds. We raced the level 10 Sharps, and she had the SLK 65. Beautiful car. Too easy. Way too easy. So I think they need to bump up their AI a little bit. So if you notice, there's like parking lane text that's on the side of the roads. It says parking lane, and it's above the pavement, and it's like, that's very immersion breaking. I don't know if they have plans to do something with that, if you can park and get out of your car. I don't know. Would be cool for making videos. You could park and get out, and then like pan your avatar and like watch, like have people fly down that road that are in a group with you, and like, and like do like flybys for videos and stuff. That would be cool. I don't know if they're planning on implementing that, but maybe have an option to turn that off. Because like we know that they're parking lanes, but I feel like they have a purpose for that, or they wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see what's going on with that. The non-unique speedometers, that they don't have the manufacturer speedometers, it's all generic. They did have that in their survey that they released when the demo ended, that what would you like to see. So I think eventually they will implement that, but as of right now they just didn't have enough time to get to it, which is fine. I'm sure eventually, and it'll just make it feel more like you're driving that car. You know what I mean? The trams in the game, maybe they actually move in the final game, or there's gonna be more trams, because I think I saw one parked tram out of the whole map. So maybe they'll do something with that. Maybe with the collectibles, have some landmarks to go around and find on top of, you know, where the just grabbing the collectibles. I think there's a lot of cool landmarks in Hong Kong, like the Ferris wheel and stuff. Maybe they could have us discover, even if it's just an achievement, or you get like 5,000 solar coins or something cheap, you know, would be pretty cool. I think that could be a cool thing that could add in the future. Maybe tire smoke could be a little, look, we've seen some of the trailers, and like there was a trailer that was no like dust, tire smoke, off-road, like nothing going on. We know why they did it. It wasn't optimized yet. It was definitely present in the demo. I feel like it could be just bumped up a little bit, but I'm sure, you know, they did say it was an older build, so I'm sure they've already fixed that, so I'm not really worried about it. And yeah, I think that's all I have for the bad. So now we're gonna get into the other video where I go over my stats and how much I played, the money I made, the cars I had, and then talk a little bit more in depth about some other things. So enjoy, boys. All right, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. The demo ends tomorrow. I'm assuming it ends like 9-10 a.m. when the next fest or whatever Steam is doing is over. I doubt it's going to go all day, but look, I wanted to film my thoughts, like what I liked about the demo, what I didn't like, what can be improved, you know, just like my general thoughts. I put 42 hours into this. 42 hours in the like the 10 days it was out. I know there's a few of my friends that played a little more, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know it's gotten a lot of hate, a lot of criticism, blah blah blah, even though there was a article out, interview with the game director, and it said it's an old build, a really old build. People are still saying it's not possible to have an old build, which is just comical at that point. Like, what do you think? Every time they do one little update to the game, they just delete everything else and keep it? Like, they, anyway, look. So here's the deal. I figure I'll just get in and then talk about, I'll just go around and then look. I didn't write any notes. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. So anyway, the login issue was obviously fixed. They did like 3 or 4 server maintenances, and then they did like 1 patch. They got a lot of things situated. It was kind of a mess at the beginning. They have daily challenges here for the game. And then Zai sent me some screens of, it seems like only the EU servers got it, the daily live challenges that rotate, that I think are a really cool thing that'll get people really pumping in for the day to complete some things. I think that's a good way to go. Look, so basically I like the starting apartment. It's all right, right? It's not bad. Now, I was able to, let's go to profile here. Obviously, I'm probably around level like 25 sharp, so I've gotten like, because this gray suit here, you get for playing a lot. Because even though you maxed out at technically level 10, even though go 10 and 15, but they click over one, you can still keep going with your clan and leveling up. So basically, playtime, 1 day, 18 hours, 42.5 hours here. Total money earned $6,583,250. Now, I own every car but the 2024 Mustang and that off-road buggy. Now, I have enough to buy the Mustang and just about enough to buy, I have enough to buy them all, just about. I might have to do like 3 races. But I just, I haven't played the last 2 days, and I'm just like, there's no point. But everything I have, everything else is bought, maxed out. But 6.5 mil in 40 hours ain't that bad when you consider the article we saw about the playtest. They talk about 100 to 200 hours, which is a big window to buy a Bugatti. Now, I did know that game director said that they were going to double the prices of the cars and stuff, which I'm fine with. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not realistic. Okay. So what? A GTR right now costs, what was it, like 1.4 mil? They doubled it to 2.8. And people are like, oh, it's not realistic. You're not making realistic money in the game. You're not making $100 a day like you would in real life. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a little bit of a low amount, but yeah, you want realistic prices, but then you want super inflated. Like, if you want realistic prices, you're not going to win $20,000 for a 1-minute race. So I find that argument to be weird. You know what I mean? Okay, if that's what you want, then you should be getting like $5, $10 per race if you want realistic prices. Anyway, so number of cars 16, daily challenges. There's no radio stations. I've just about fully completed all the districts. I've done 84 races, 74 first place finishes, instant challenges. Last time I played Fizzy got me 3 times in a row for 50K, so that was fun. Distance traveled 946 miles. Favorite car is a Porsche Cayenne Turbo. Thing's a monster. With that car, I drove 318 miles. Longest drift, 211 yards. I drifted for a total of 33 miles. Longest jump, highest jump, top speed, I hit 226 mile an hour in that Aston Martin DB11. Social, number of groups joined 19. Distance walked almost 10 miles. I managed to get 33 things of clothing. Yeah. Now, I do like this instant challenge a lot. I made a separate video about that. I think that this is going to be a really cool feature. I'm curious, though, as you level up through the game, if this will get higher, because if you can only do 50, I mean, they might do that, because if they allow you to bet more, you could easily just beat somebody, and then if you could bet $1 million, you can really get a car pretty quickly. So I think after thinking about it, they probably won't really do that. But yeah, so if we look here for the cars, right, we got the 2CV 370 500 Abarth, Alpine A110, the Delta HF, DB11, Cayenne Turbo, the Beetle, F-150, G-Wagon, the Mito Quadrifoglio Verde. Somehow I have 2 of those. I don't know how. Audi TT, SLK 55, Q7, the old Mustang, and you couldn't get all the wrecks for that. But yeah, that's 16 cars. You get the Mustang and the buggy, you're good to go. But all of those are pretty much maxed out, you know. So performance, obviously, I'm right under the minimum settings. I think you know, a big chunk of this demo was to optimize the game, work on the server, and I got to give them credit, because once they fixed a few things, I had no issues logging in. I had no issues really with anything. At one point, the game did look better. I think what they have in the Solar Hotel here is pretty cool with the cars that are on display. They weren't there at the launch of the demo, and then I'm assuming the Solar King or Queen's car will go here, and then maybe the daily live challenge car will go here. But if you go look there, you can actually see the full map. Probably easier over here. There's nobody standing in the way. A lot of people are like, oh, what's the actual map look like? It's in the Solar Hotel. Like, you can literally see everything here, you know. But they said they saved the best locations. But yeah, so the garage. Let's talk about the garage. A lot of people were thinking you could only have 6 cars. No, you can only display 6 cars. That's obvious. They're not going to limit you to only 6 cars, right? I have 16 cars. I don't know why people were thinking that. So this was my garage, right? I haven't changed it in the longest time. But yeah, I mean, you can change your car here. I think this, you know, is enough for now. I mean, half the time you don't even come to your garage to look anyway. I know a lot of people are like complaining, and there's like, I know, we'll get houses. All right, we'll get houses. It's coming. Let them get the game out. All right. So nighttime is definitely my favorite. Nighttime looks the best. Daytime, I feel like, you know, could use a little work. Obviously, it's an old build. We'll see. We'll definitely see some improvements. I'll be playing on PS5, so it'll be like, you know, 2K 60 frames, 4K 30. It should look really good. Now, let's talk about the map and the districts. So, let's look at what I have, okay? I'm missing one Radiant prize there, and I'm assuming it was in this locked dealership, okay? This district, I got everything, all right? This district, I was missing 5. Couldn't find them. This district, I was missing 2. This, I was missing 3. But the Radiant prizes, going around collecting money, is super. I actually made a video about how to make like millions and how to make, you know, fast money. But I guess there's really no point in releasing it now. But there's a lot of toge roads for drifting, like this right here. This is a great spot for drifting. We had a lot of fun. Where was it? This spot right here is good. This spot's good. There's a lot of good stuff around this map. I'm looking forward to get to the rest of the map. Now, I will say, as far as like grouping up with people goes, I was pretty impressed all the times I got in a group. Wasn't really any like desync lag issues. Like when you got in a group and you were cruising around the world, nobody was like teleporting around. It was very smooth. The only thing I don't like is that it was region locked. Now, I know that it's going to be like per region for like the every 3-month competition they have. And like, so like me in the US versus my friend in Finland, he can be Solar King and I can also be Solar King because it'll be per region. Now, if they keep it how it, like, you cannot, I could only group up with people that were in US or Canada. So if they don't change it at launch and I can't group up with my buddy in Finland, that's going to be a problem. And I think a lot of people are already upset with that. So if they keep it region locked and you can't play with your friends from a different region, that's not good. And I almost have a feeling that they might stay that way, and that's kind of worrisome for me. But now, I never did see a full lobby. You can have 32 in a lobby. I never actually saw a full 32 lobby. Granted, not a lot of people are going to play on Steam. I do like that it tells you, you know, a little bit about whoever's in there, what's going on. Now, I did notice that if I would fast travel, like if I saw like this guy, right, and I wanted to go race him, I would fast travel to the streets headquarters and come out, and then it puts me in a different instance. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not cool, because so here's the thing. If I saw that guy and I'm like, okay, I can't fast travel because it'll change the instance, I'm gonna have to drive to him. By the time I get over there, he's gone or in a race or doing something else, and that's a wrap. And I noticed that every single time I fast travel, it refreshes the lobby. So I don't know why that's a thing. I feel like, yeah, if you log out, you should change lobbies or have an option to, I guess if you want to change lobby, just log out of the game. But every time I fast travel, that's a little much. I did notice that when I was grouped up with people, sometimes, you know, we could go to the Solar Hotel, meet up, come out. I think that was a bug that they had listed ever since the demo came out. There was times where we would do instant challenges. We would group up at like a gas station, do an instant challenge, come out, we'd all be there, and then we'd do an instant, come back, and then we couldn't see each other. So I think with the whole servers that, you know, eventually they'll get that going. But I mean, for what it is, I really enjoyed this game. I want to talk about the races. There we go. Completed. Now we got 500,000. Look at that. So I want to talk about the races, okay? I enjoyed the races. The AI level up on their own. Some of the AI, like the Lancia Delta, that AI is OP and will whoop your ass. They have time trials. They have clan battles, they have manufacturer only. Supposedly there's going to be like delivery and transport missions. The cool thing about the races is that I thoroughly enjoyed all the race routes. They didn't feel repetitive. Like every race felt different. The layouts were cool. I mean, you got online leaderboards. Actually, let's go to on the docks and see if I'm still second place. I did see a lot of people complaining about the FOV inside the car. Like, go into cameras. You can change the height and the depth of your driver when you're in cockpit mode. And a lot of people just kept complaining about it. I'm like, do you realize that you should probably look in the menus before you start complaining that a feature is not there? It's kind of crazy. Anyway, there's a way that you can assign, like you got to assign a clutch. Yeah. If you don't, like you can't do launch control. You're supposed to be able to hold the brake, give it gas, it'll activate launch mode and go. And I'm on manual, right? But unless you actually have like the clutch, use the clutch, launch control doesn't work. So I'd have to assign the clutch. So anyway, that's a thing. I think I'm in manual, even if I have I'm not using the clutch. You know what I mean? Damn, we got bumped back a little bit. We're in fourth now. Yikes. I don't know how the person got 58 seconds. That's kind of wild, but I mean, let's talk about the car sounds. They nailed the engine and exhaust sounds. I think the 4C is probably my favorite, even though this is you got to test drive it to drive it, but this thing sounds insane. Now, a lot of people are saying these dealerships feel too open. They don't feel... I don't have an issue with the dealerships personally. I don't mind that they're this open. I got no issue with it. A lot of people were saying like it's immersion braking, it's too big. They all look the same. They do all look the same. I will say that. So it doesn't feel, yeah, like you go into Italian, you go into Classic, you go into American, you go into British. They all have the same look. So I guess like I get it. Like it doesn't feel like you're actually at like, now we haven't really seen like all the dealerships, but I have a feeling they're all going to look like that. They're not really going to be diverse when it comes to that. But I mean, it is what it is. You can stand, you can crouch, you can stand on your tippy toes. I mean, it's whatever. Like you're gonna fly in here, buy the car you want and leave. You don't need to spend a ton of time in here. So it's kind of just like whatever to me. Now, I will say it's weird that some cars, like the 370, you buy it, it's got turbo noises. And it's like, well, stock 370 VQ does not have turbo. And also, I guess we can go to the workshop and talk about it. And while we're going in there, the sense of speed, I will say they did a really good job with the sense of speed in this game. Once you really start hitting 150, 200 mile an hour, it feels sketchy. And compared to other games, you actually feel like you're hauling ass. And it's just, they really nailed it. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of people that enjoy the physics, a lot of people on the fence. And then there's people that are like, oh, it's trash. And it's like, I get that the curbs can be a little much, but it forces you to actually drive on the road and not cut and not do like stupid shit. Like this is more like a sim game than anything else. Like I'd rather the curbs and the planners and shit punish you for trying to cut. Like this isn't the Crew. This isn't Need for Speed. Like stay your ass on the road and just drive. You know what I mean? But they did a good job with that. I really like the physics overall. I think maybe the drifting could use a little bit of assistance, even if they added like they have the off-road tires, had some like drift tires. The counter steering it's kind of hard to hold a drift in some cars. So yeah, let's talk about customization. Livery. If you adjust anything on your livery, add one sticker, 30K. Change the paint job, 30K. Anything you do is 30K. You can add 50 stickers, 30K. One sticker, 30K. That's a problem. That's too much. If you just want to tweak one thing, I think they should change how that works. Hopefully we'll get more wheels. I'm assuming we will in the final game. This can't be all of them. There's no way it's just that little amount. The tint was cool. We don't want colored tint. Obviously, you can change your interior. Let's talk about performance, okay? El performance. Now, really curious to see how this anti-lag turbo goes. Now it's obviously the best turbo you can get, but I mean, if we can actually and then take off, that would be freaking sick. I do like all the pops and the bangs. Now some people are like, it's the same for every car. Some cars it actually does sound different. The pops are a little bit of a different tone or quieter than others, like the DB11, or there was another car. But I mean, just having, if you look, like the price is really, we were complaining about the prices. It's like, okay, well, the price for this was like about 20,000, and maybe this one was only 12. Next one's 13, 16, 18. It's really modest. Like one race you can upgrade your exhaust the way it is. So it doesn't really cost that much to really max out a car. Like it's not like this was 20K, this is 40, 80, 120,000. These are very reasonable, and I think actually too cheap. If you're gonna be level 45, you only need 22K for a legendary part. I think that's a little on the low side. But as far as performance, they did a pretty good job here. This actually lowers the car, which is cool. You know, I like to see that, because in this game really you only have wheels. That's it, you know. So to actually lower the car, it would be pretty cool. The gearboxes, I think we'll see how these go. Now this is supposed to be long for high speed, but right now, you know, once we get more horsepower, really curious to see how much of a difference these tires make. But yeah, I mean, I think the performance upgrade should be more expensive once you get up towards like that legendary status, and right now they're like super cheap. As I made $6.5 million in this game, and a lot of people are like, you know, from what we've heard, it's going to be quite the grind. And I'm like, well, if they keep it this way, I literally bought 16 cars in 40 hours. Like, that's not test drive. You shouldn't be buying that many cars. You should buy one car and really keep it for a while. So I think also, you know, them doubling the prices of the cars and then even doubling or tripling or just tiering the performance parts more would probably be a better thing, because they're super, like one race to get a legendary part, when it's one race to get a basic part right now, that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, the whole engine start stop, the windows, I mean, we had fun on stream putting the SLK 55s top down while doing 150 mile an hour, but I don't think a lot of people realize you go in a radio menu and you can stop your engine, hold circle, boom, it's off, you know, turn it back on. I think the headlights, they've done a good job with how they illuminate the road. They're very bright. One thing is these parking lane. I don't know if they have something planned for this, but it's kind of immersion braking. And I noticed on some parts of the city, if you pull into one of these, you can hear people like on the sidewalk, and like just like a loud street, you hear like the ambiance in this game is insane. If you're on one of the off-road paths, you just hear the water and the birds and just all kinds of stuff. They nailed that. I know a lot of people talked about the pedestrians and the city feels dead. Look, the game's not even optimized as it is. Like, they've made it better, obviously, and they will continue to make it better. But like, why do you need, sure, maybe around like the workshops or like here and there some pedestrians like sitting, if anything. But I mean, overall, the sense of speed already in the demo is crazy. And when you're doing 200 plus and you're ripping around the road, you're not going to notice a pedestrian sitting on the side of the road. And like, at that point, it's like, all right, like, I'd rather not see pedestrians if the game runs better versus putting thousands of pedestrians across the city, and then it's just like the game runs worse. Like, you don't, like, why do I care if there's some pedestrians walking on the side of the road right now? It's a racing game, you know? And like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's not, it doesn't look as good. Like, this demo on low graphics, honestly, sometimes, if not all the time, looks better than Motorfest. Like, I went back to Motorfest, and like the things in the distance just wouldn't load, and the buildings looked worse, and the foliage looked worse at long distance, and like, people are saying this doesn't look good. Like, what are you smoking? Anyway, it's gonna look good on launch, don't you worry about it. But What else can we talk about? The speed traps. This is a good way to make some money. A lot of people don't like the solar hotel, how it's designed, what it looks like. All right, I get that. Overall, I think the highways feel okay. The highway system feels pretty good. You can get up to a good speed. Like I said, the instant challenges are really cool, just being able to challenge anybody at will. The off-road feels good. The off-road races are fun. The paths are cool. You can find some cool routes for like sunsets and sunrises. I know people were able to get off-road. There's some cool dirt stuff here. This highway goes along the ocean down here. There's like a city down here. So once we get access to this, it'll be cool. This dirt track we don't have a race for, but I'm assuming at launch we'll have it. But this is a cool little track. That'll be fun. I just really enjoyed my time with the game, and I'm sure I'm missing some things, but like overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my 40 hours. It's going to be sad when I can't play it for the next 2 months until the VIP beta comes out. But I hope they got a lot of good data and feedback, and they can make some adjustments for launch. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you know, having stories cheesier. It feels, it's not the full game. There's still shit that's locked. Supposedly there's like a 30 to 45 minute intro to even get you into the game. I'm pretty sure they said that progression is going to be a lot slower in the full game. Like obviously for the demo, they bumped up the XP and the money gains, or they're going to keep the money gains the same and then just double the price of the cars. But I think they should also, like I said, double or triple the price of performance parts. That just seems really low to me. So on top of the 32 player lobbies, I don't think I talked about it. Supposedly, from what I read from one of the various articles floating around, you can only see 12 people around you at once. So you couldn't get the full 32 player lobby in here, which, why have 32 player lobby if you can't see all the players? And I do think that as far as the races go, now I know a lot of people are complaining, let us do solo races. I think that should be a thing. Like, yeah, you're like, if you come up like, okay, it's always online, right? Cool. If I go into this race, I should have the option to enter solo and race the AI, because when you don't get people in, you race the AI anyway. Or wait for the 30-second counter, 34-second, whatever it was, and actually wait for people to join. Now, this doesn't send an invite. This isn't like Need for Speed where it like invites the whole thing. So unless somebody is in your server queuing up for the same race as you at the same time, you're gonna wait. You have to wait down this 30-second timer, and you have to race the AI anyway. So I think that they should implement a way to, but see, if they implement something where it's like, you know, you can race alone, the lobbies are really never gonna fill, and you're never gonna race a real person because most of the people are gonna want to play by themselves. So that's like one of those things that's like, do they or don't they? I'm sure eventually they will, but very rarely, and I mean like less than 1% of the time, did I ever actually get into a race with another person. Or it was only when like, hey, we were in a group, let's go to a race, and then we're all queued at the same time. So it is cool though when you're in a group and somebody starts a race, it's like, hey, race invitation. So that's cool. But even though it's always online, I really didn't ever race anybody, but it was only ever like 3 to 6 people in the lobby. So I'm sure once launch happens and things, there's more people in the lobby, like there's full 32 lobbies all the time. And I do want to talk about these meetup points. These right now are just a place where you can go and change your car. It's helpful for when we were, also let us slam our Raptor like the traffic Raptors are. Those things are low as shit, man. It's pretty cool. So these meetup points are a good way to change your car. Okay, now if you go and highlight on the map location where races are started, you can change your car here. If these meetup points are places where you can like start any race that's in this area, like if it's, I don't know, if I'm assuming like there's like one per district, maybe it seems that way. Well, there's not one there, but if there's one per district, right, Or even if they're like, all right, so this one's here, you can get like all these races, and you can select a race from this meeting point and it like throws an invitation out to people, or you meet up here and you go to race and then there's other people and it just queues for a random race in that area. I think that'll get more players in your lobby in the races versus just going to each race and waiting the 30 seconds. So I'm curious how these meeting points are going to work. But if those are hubs where you can get into a lobby and then it just randomly toggles races, that would be something I do more than going to each individual race. Anything else to really touch on? I feel like right now the HQ is kind of... There's no point in going to the HQ right now. I mean, I know it's a demo and it's very limited. But besides racing... every 10 levels you race one of the Sharps clan, what are you gonna do? Now I know you'll be able to see the progress of the clan battle here, who's winning, Sharps or Streets. So that's going to be something you come to check, but you can also check it from one of these menus. Curious to see how the solar pass is going to work. I'm assuming the top Sharps car will be featured here, just like in the Streets headquarters there's a spot for a car. I mean, I'm sure this will be more lively once people actually get in the game, but right now it just kind of feels like, well, what's the point to go to the HQ? There really is none. Casino, we don't know. We don't know what's going on with the casino, right? There's no mention of the casino, and they said in that Traxion article that came out, I think it was yesterday, that the features that are in the game are the features that are going to be there at launch. They're not adding anymore. Now, it was a demo. There's going to be some things that are in the game that we just don't have access to, but they said as far as like new features, we're not getting new features in launch. Like everything that's already here in the game, implemented, it is what it is. So there's no casino right now, and we haven't heard anything about the casino. So casinos, I have a feeling it's coming after launch, which is a little upsetting, but I'm pretty sure that's how TDU2 was. So a lot of people are like, oh, this isn't a proper TDU game. They're missing so much. Look, man, it's a small team. It's a AA studio. They have like 1/3, 1/4 the amount of people that work on like a Forza game, okay? And when you compare like this map to like Forza is just a bunch of open desert. Of course it's going to look good. They don't have buildings everywhere. They don't have random shit. Oh, I got stuck everywhere. Now they did say the traffic is work in progress. It's not the final traffic build. People are like, we need more traffic. Have you been 200 mile an hour on the highway where the traffic's heavy? It was a nightmare. We don't need more traffic. They just got to optimize it. They did say there will be more traffic in the final build, and they'll be more optimized. There was times I played where there was traffic everywhere, and there's times I play now where there's really no traffic. You got to read the notes in the demo when they released it. Like they know this isn't the final build. They'll get to it, okay? A lot of you can't read that early demo version down in the bottom corner. But I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. I like the raises. I like this dominator mode, or whatever, domination mode they called it. It was really fun to cruise with friends. Overall, I'm happy with the demo. This game has a very solid base, and it has a lot of potential to be one of the greatest racing games of all time, especially if they support this for 10 years like they want to. And that's the thing, like a lot of people are like shitting on the game. It's like, dude, it's a fucking demo. Calm down. Sure, they're missing a lot of features. They're going to bring them after launch. They've already said every 3 months there will be a major update. And this game has the potential to be really, really great. And if we get 10 years of updates, if people can stop shitting on the game and support it, and support this smaller team of devs, and realize that they want what's best for the game and it's not just a cash grab, we're gonna have something massive on our hands. Like, the game's been in development for 6 years, okay? I think they said the map took them like 3 or 4 years. Look, if everything's in place now and we get 10 years of content, I mean, if you look, there's a whole city, I don't know if it's technically still Hong Kong Island, but across the way, this way, you can see another island and buildings in the distance, and it's like, okay, that could probably eventually be DLC. If you know, we're obviously eventually going to get something more to this game, whether it's a new map. Like over there you can see all the buildings and shit. Imagine they put in a highway and we go over here, you know, we go up and there's a whole nother island that this is this big, or we go to Ibiza and there's a place, if that's where the casino is, they put an airport in somewhere and we can go. Like, this game has so much potential. They're obviously going to add new cars, new modes, new challenges, but I think everything that's going to be in place at launch with the daily live challenges on top of just the daily challenges, it was like time attacks, instant challenges, the Xtreme, like there's so much here to enjoy, and I'm really excited. They've done a great job with the game. There's a good base here. I just don't want people to keep shitting on the game and not even give it a chance. This is sure, okay, I agree with you. They shouldn't have called it a demo. They should have called it like a beta playtest or something. Hey, we want to test our servers. Here's the game for free. Help us fix some bugs. Go from there. But I think them calling it a demo scuffed a lot of people's view on it, and a lot of people just assumed that this was close to the final build, even though it's not, and they don't understand how game development works, and they're like, there's no way. I think that they could have done that a little wrong. But if you look back to like all the whatever you want to call it, those updates, we were supposed to get updates every month, and then we go 3, 4 months, 5 months with no update. They're really bad with the whole communication part, and I think they also dropped the ball with the communication for this demo, and they should have called it something else, and then people wouldn't have gotten so mad about it. But overall, I'm hyped about the game, and I'm sure it has its flaws. They've done a lot to get this demo working properly. I haven't had issues in a week now, and I'm excited for the game. So you know the drill. Subscribe, come back. See you on the next one.